Chairperson, allow me to congratulate you and the Bureau on your election and to thank you as well as the Secretariat for the preparation and organization of this session. Our deliberation this week will not only allow us to take stock of the progress we have made, but will also provide us with an opportunity to plan how to improve on the implementation of the ICPD Program of Action and the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The 25th anniversary of the ICPD takes place in a world characterized by the rise in extremism, the resurgence of national populism and authoritarian ideologies, intolerance towards diversity, the undermining of multilateralism and outright rejection of and regression from international agreed norms, principles and standards which further delays us from achieving the full and effective implementation of the program of action. The consensus that bound us in Cairo was informed by our common aspiration to see a world where childbirth did not threaten the right to life, a world in which investments in education, health service, and social development, in particular education, health services for vulnerable population, were encouraged, and the pursuit of safe and orderly migration were recognized as the necessary pillars for achieving sustainable development. The stark contradictions in our articulation, whereby on one hand we decry slow progress in the area of maternal health and infant mortality, whilst on the other hand we reject all necessary strides to provide essential health services, in particular sexual and reproductive health services aimed at addressing this challenge. Access to health care, including reproductive health, is a constitutional recognized right in South Africa under the Section 27 of our Constitution. The Constitutional Court has linked the realization of socioeconomic rights to the right to life and the adequate standard of living. It enjoins the state to take reasonable legislative and other measures within its available resources to achieve the progressive realization of each of these rights and on a non-discriminatory basis. Further, the South African government is committed to achieving universal health coverage through a national health insurance, which has reformed the financing of the country's health in order to increase the quality of life and access to health services, paying particular attention to the sexual reproductive health and rights, a need to women, adolescents, youth, older persons, LGBTQ persons with disability, and indigenous people. South Africa recognizes the nexus between migration and development. Hence, we have introduced the new international migration policy that is based on a whole of government and society approach. South Africa remains home to many migrants and has adopted progressive and targeted policies aimed at safe, orderly, and regulatory migration. We are cognizant that the mismanagement of international migration has the potential to affect social cohesion, particularly exacerbated by socioeconomic disparities in poor communities. However, government have the primary responsibility to protect the human rights and fundamental freedoms of all migrants, including by strongly denouncing and taking action to eliminate all forms of intolerance and discrimination towards them. South Africa is not spared from this challenge, as is evident by the current spate of violence against foreigners. Harnessing the demographic dividend through investment in young people has been recognized by the African Union as key for Africa's development and the achievement of the Continental Agenda 2063. At home, South Africa's youthful population has called for more investment in equality and quality of basic education, including comprehensive sexual education. Accordingly, South African government continue to prioritize investments in infrastructure, entrepreneurship, and job creation as a response to this call and to strategically place us on the right path. Furthermore, in line with our commitment enshrined in NDP, efforts to address inequality and access to resources and basic services remain a key priority to South Africa. The numerous poverty alleviation programs that address income, human capital, and asset poverty resulted in more South Africans today having access to some form of household income. In addition, the government investments in education, health, social development, social assistance to vulnerable households and individual and contributory social security, public transport, housing and local amenities has played a notable role in the efforts to reduce poverty, and they account for close to 60% of government spending. South Africa joined others in supporting the political declaration presented by the Chair to reaffirm our commitment to the political agenda set out in Cairo Programme of Action, and regrets that we are unable to find and we are happy to have found consensus on this particular matter. We are hopeful that this anniversary will serve as a catalyst for member states to work hard at ensuring that the Commission continues to play its role in giving political support to the mandate of UNFPA. Thank you.